Hey, everybody, and welcome to the AMC Live Cast, the day after Christmas. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and Santa Claus filled your stocking full of glues and paints and hobby kits and mostly full of joy and happiness. This is me, the scale model outlaw Mike, and my co host.
Jason from KRD, Klein Race Car Designs.
And of course, our awesome producer, the man that makes it happen, the bees all that ends all, Mr.
Bruce from Bruce's Eclectic-World. Yay!
Well, guys, we got a very special guest coming on tonight. We've got, well, I'll tell you what, Bruce, you lined that all up. I'll let you do the introduction for Mr. Mark.
Well, everybody knows the voice.
For sure.
For a long, long time.
Oh, yeah.
And finally, we all got to see the face. And today, I was giddy as a schoolgirl.
Right?
I get to see my favorite YouTuber. And then look at me now. I'm on a show.
Right.
There you go.
But I want to introduce our awesome friend to the whole show and all of you is Mark from GrandpaMark's Hobbies.
Woo!
Yay!
Hi, everyone.
The man, the myth, the legend. There he is in the flesh. How you doing, Mr. Mark?
I'm doing great.
You're definitely doing a lot better than I am. We were talking backstage. We were talking backstage, and I'm going to let Bruce and Jason do most of the talking tonight. That's right, chat. I'm going to try to be quiet. Mark, it's so cool to have you on here. I echo what Bruce was saying. Been watching your videos for a long time. Your content is amazing. Your builds are amazing. I just want to get that out there. I'm going to let the boys take over because I'm already losing my voice.
Okay, thank you.
So, Mark, first question we always ask our guests is, what age did you get started and who got you into the hobby of model building?
Oh, shoot. I started when I was 5.
5 years old.
Yeah. My brother had an old metal model kit that you screwed everything together. And
I remember
took it apart, and he help me put it back together again. And I bet you I took that thing apart 20 times.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had fun with that. And just advanced from there. My neighbor gave me a Volkswagen kit, and we were working together down his basement, and that was the first plastic kit I ever did. And ever since then, I was hooked.
Been hooked ever since? Never had to take any breaks for life or kids? Or
I joined the Navy. I took a break then for a little bit. I even built when I was on the ship.
Really?
Yeah. I did
commander and all that?
I hit it. But I did a wooden model, one of the old Gallo airplane kits.
Okay.
While I was underway one Westpac, and didn't get caught, didn't get it broke or anything. Never finished it, but at least I was doing something.
Yeah.
And then after that, I got married and had my son. So there was quite a few years, maybe 18 years, that I didn't build. And then he joined the Navy, and I decided I was going to build his ship if I could find a kit for it. And sure enough, I did. And it took me 2.5 years to do that one. And
wow.
Then I was done with ships.
Yeah.
And went over I did a couple airplanes and then into cars and never turned back. I love them.
So how long have you had your YouTube channel then?
I don't know. 2 years, maybe.
2 years?
Yeah, somewhere on there.
You got a really good following. I mean, you do have that radio voice, so
I don't know about that. I started out doing grilling videos.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And I have like 9 recipes, so that didn't last long. And my neighbor, I would show him all these, and he's like, "Man, you ought to do that on YouTube." And nobody's going to want to see that. Nobody's going to see that. And I threw one on there, and I think I had 2 people watch it. I got all excited and just kept going.
That's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
So then after the 9 recipes, you switched over to models?
I did. Yep.
Oh, sorry, guys.
It's all right, Mikey.
That ended up being a
So,
completely different
so-
page too.
Yeah.
So does Navy stand for never again volunteer yourself? I was told that.
Yep,
once.
it does.
It's my joke
I
for the
tried
day.
to teach him that, and he didn't listen, and now he did.
So, as somebody that's been in the very detailed aspects of your builds, because I've seen like your motors and stuff like that, what is driven you to do that stuff? I mean, is it something that you just try to achieve better every build, like some of us do that, or you see that detail and you just got to incorporate in your builds, or?
Yes, all the way around. First off,
Okay.
it's the price of the kit, so I try to get as much as I can out of the kit. And it's just I started off doing wires and said, hey, I can do this. And somebody turned me on to using the solder on the wires. And once I discovered the solder, it was game on. It was just I'd do the wires and then look, and what else can I do? And what, and it just kept progressing from there.
Yeah.
So every time I try to add something to it.
I think you were probably like the third or fourth channel that when I got into this, and the USAC build was what drew me into the YouTube stuff. But you're probably like the third or fourth channel, and I was like, wow, this guy's very detailed. But you put out a storyline with your videos, which is really, really cool.
I try. I have a lot of fun. All my guys.
Yeah, your guys.
Yeah.
And I mean, it draws you in there, because when you have all your figures like that, that's just another source of the hobby that not everybody's into, but a lot of people are into that as well. So, I was really drawn in with your videos. So, and then you got that radio voice. So
everybody says that. I don't hear
it. We do.
Yeah. It's a moneymaker.
No, I don't know.
Mark, those of us with the melancholy voices, we don't hear it. We're just, we're like that. I can totally relate.
$1 million. Right.
$1 million voices. I've been told that I sing like a Kentucky bluebird. So yeah, I can feel your pain, brother.
I couldn't carry a tune with a bucket.
I seen Billy scroll through, so our radio voice is in there too. The other radio voice.
Yes, for sure. Billy has got that $1 million voice too. So.
Yeah, he does.
Well, I gotta have a good voice. I don't have the looks.
Yeah, I can't relate to that. I got all that. I got all this and the voice. So.
All
then
that
I fell off the wrong truck because I ain't got the voice and I ain't got the looks either. So if you had to pick a color of spark plug wires, what would be your go-to color?
Oh, absolutely yellow.
Yellow
all day long. Yeah. Excel yellow.
Excel yellow.
And then desert tan for the cap.
Yep. Yeah.
They just show up so much better on everything.
Yeah, they do. Now you pretty much stick to like the older year builds, or do you kind of bounce around from new stuff to old stuff? Or
I like doing them all. I really do. There's challenges in every one of them that you can do the old roadsters and then jump into a muscle car and then back way into something older than that even and spend a day and a half or 2 days, 3 days on the internet researching everything. And I think that's 3/4 of the fun is looking everything up and learning.
Right. So you are an avid researcher then when you get into something.
Yeah, it's not that I'm going to follow it, but at least I know what it's supposed to look like.
Yep.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. In your research, do you do it for ideas and or placement, like what things should look like, or just to get if it's a vehicle or something you're completely unfamiliar with, you would
Yeah. I'll go on and look to see. The first thing I'll do is type in the car name and the engine, and it always shows you the engine and everything like that on the car. because it never looks the same when it's on the block.
Yep.
And then I work my way around the car from there. But I always seem to go for the engine and the engine bay first. And everything else is pretty much where the lights go and what color things are. But the engines, geez, there's so many different things you can do.
Oh, yeah. So like the one you did for Bruce here not that long ago, that thing turned out phenomenal. And it's all the kit parts, right?
Yes.
So do you find yourself like, how should I word this, scribing or adding detail to the original parts, meaning
that's what I like to do.
Okay.
I really like to stay with as much of the kit as I can and just add little stuff to it to make it a lot better.
So you'll sculpt some of the details into the plastic then if you had to. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then the springs and the little stuff that you can do that doesn't cost anything.
Right.
That's my whole thing is I try to keep on the cheap.
Yeah. No, like all your fuel lines and stuff, they all look just phenomenal. I mean, you do some really good detailed work. I'm a little jealous because you should go into the market of selling those boxes that you pack that motor in.
It took me as long to make that box as it did to do the engine.
Yeah, I mean, look at that, folks. He made a nice foam insert for the air cleaner and the motor, and
nice.
Yeah,
I didn't want it to get messed
air cleaner's
up.
right there.
Yeah,
It goes right there.
Yeah, that's the first time I mailed anything, so I wanted to make sure it got there.
Oh yeah,
he said it was bulletproof.
I tried.
When Bruce showed us that and he was opening it up, I was like, "Wow, look at that! He made it so his own water jet packaging with an X-Acto knife."
I had fun.
He did.
But if it wasn't for this, I don't think I'd still be modeling.
Yeah,
because I tried to use other wires and things like that and just got frustrated with it. And I don't even know where it was. And I wish I knew the person's name that said, "Did you ever try solder?" And now I got like 5 different size rolls on the desk.
So you use it for your exhaust too?
I haven't yet, but that's coming.
I've done that. That works really good because you can shape it around the bottom of the chassis really nice, get it all tucked up. So
I want to make a set of headers with it. And, solder the ends with the thinner solder so you don't have to get it as hot, so you don't melt that.
Now there's a gentleman here in the chat, Mark Batson. He's got an awesome video on that. Where he did that number 43 1/35 scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where he took it to Acme.
That was the Dale Earnhardt. I believe that was the Dale Earnhardt car.
The 132nd car. Yeah. Not only that, he did a video that I got to go watch because I'm in a position with my 55 right now is I need to make radiators. And I even said that on one of my videos is that I know Mark did a video on how he makes his radiators from scratch. So I got to give it a whirl because the positions that I have in the space has got to be custom. So I'll be looking that up there, Mark.
Yeah, I haven't gotten into it that deep yet.
Well, sometimes, printing the stuff is great, but then just some of that is sometimes quicker to just whip out of some raw material if you got it,
Yeah. Yeah. And then you're not gonna print linkage and things like that either.
No.
And
So
sometimes if like in my case, and I'm not sure I'm not the only one, but if you're taking a 3D printed motor and trying to put it into a different car or whatever, sometimes there is no headers that'll fit between the frame rails and go to the block. So you have to use that solder to, kind of create your own setup. Yeah. I ran into that when I put the V10 in the Hudson. I ended up I didn't do the solder thing. I ended up cutting the frame rails around and, kind of getting it in there where if it was a real car, it probably would twist the frame in half, but I'd have to worry about driving it. So I just kind of hacked where I needed to hack to make room. But that's where that solder comes in handy. And I like it for exhaust as well because especially custom exhaust, because you can tie into it, and Detail Master makes a header flange that the solder will actually fit right inside of, and it's made out of what do they call that, PE, photo etch.
Yep.
So you can put that on there. Once you get it all bent up the way you want, you put that 3-bolt flange on the end of it, and bang, it looks the part.
Yeah, just like what Tim just said, that it's pretty simple. You just basically are making a box, but there are companies that make the radiator screens out there. So I imagine that a lot of them are probably photo etch or just some fine mesh screen. So
yeah,
I think ProTech was one of them that I thought I seen too. So definitely got to do some research and start making some radiators over here.
that'll be.
That's what happens when you take the radiator out and you put turbos right in front where the radiator is supposed to be.
Or send the Pro Charger through the grill. Now I got to put a radiator on each side.
That's what I'm gonna do.
The Mad Max style mounted on the roof.
Right?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So, Mark, I know you've been a very big sponsored channel by Gallery for quite a while now. Is it going on 2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably a year and a half. Yeah.
Year and a half.
Yep.
So how many brushes have you had the pleasure of testing out for them fine folks over there at Gallery?
I think all of them.
All of them?
To be honest with you. Yeah. I think all of them. Jeez. I think I have more airbrushes right now than kits. To be honest with you. And I've used a lot of airbrushes before. And these guys just called me up and they're like, do you want to try? I'm sure I'll try anything. And the first one they sent was their basic baseline model, and it just nothing fancy about it, but it sprayed really nice and felt good. And I immediately wrote them back and told them that. And the next thing they were like, well, what could we send you? What do you need? And I'm thinking, well, can you cut me a deal on a compressor? Well, they sent me the whole compressor kit with the paint and all that in there, and 2 airbrushes, 2 hoses, and all that. And I've been using that for quite a while.
Yeah.
And the more they do, the better they've been getting.
Yeah.
With the quality of things.
Yeah, they have. And then I'm assuming you have the new air compressor that they just released too.
I love that thing. Yeah.
You love that? That's
good. It's called the Serene Air. I have the other one up on the shelf now. Yep. Like what Bruce is showing there.
Yeah.
So I have the other one up on the shelf now. That's just to put it through its paces and everything. That's the only one I'm using.
Yeah.
And I have had no problems with it keeping up or getting hot or anything. And I like that it has push button for your pressures, but it also has a high and a low button on it. So when I'm cleaning the brush and you go to backwash it, you push low and it just, it doesn't spatter everything all over the place. And then you can turn it on to high and clean them out real well.
Nice.
So
do you find yourself?
Yeah. Yeah. Cause you get your knob set and you don't want to touch it. This is where I like to spray and you leave it alone. Well, that thing sprays at 19 and that's what I was always trying to get.
Yeah. So do you find yourself painting all your parts with the airbrush, or do you go mixture of brush painting and airbrush?
Anymore, I'm doing anything that's big enough to where I can spray it. Even the engine. The other day, I pulled out that little 2mm and sprayed everything from the transmission up, and I didn't mask or anything.
Yeah.
And it just cuts a nice line. So yeah, I'm now that I have that air compressor, I'm more apt to go over there and just grab it and go.
Okay.
So
nice.
And I just found out today that they're sending me something coming tomorrow.
Nice.
And I have no idea what's coming.
I got an email from them as well, and I haven't went and read it yet, so I don't know if that's got to do with that or if it's got to do with sales. I haven't looked, but
yeah, this was a UPS thing.
So it's a tracking number
tomorrow,
yeah.
So I'm excited to see what comes.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah,
probably a bunch of jars.
I hope so.
I do too.
Really,
I told him.
I told him a while ago.
Yeah, I told him to let me know as soon as those jars were available for the SP. So
yeah, I told him. I said, this is great. It works fantastic, but I want to have a jar set up with clear coat. I want to have a jar set up with cleaner, and so that I can just grab and go, because that's what those are for. And they said they're coming, so I'm excited. Then I'll have that one set up and use that for the bigger jobs.
Absolutely. So do you do any special techniques with like dry brushing and any of that on your builds? Or
yes, yeah. I even did, and I know you're not going to be able to see it on there, but I dry brushed the little Plymouth. I know that's not going to show up, but the little tiny Plymouth on the front. I tried to dry brush that with the aluminum, and I'm going to do that from now on.
Nice.
I put a little piece of tape on the front and a little piece of tape on the back of where the letters start and stop, and just real quick with the brush. All the extra went on the tape on both sides, and everything showed up way better than I could do it by hand.
Yeah. And for those that are watching too, the reason why he's dry brushing the emblem versus putting bare metal foil down is because that is a naked build where it's the raw plastic on that CUDA that he's building there. So he had to improvise. So
trying to get away with it.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. The one thing, Mikey here has dragged me and Bruce into the scale model, or not the scale model podcast, but the Insanity podcast guys on their turkey shoot build. And those guys do so many cool techniques with armor that us car guys don't do. And so it was really a blessing that, Mikey kind of lured us to, kind of see what those guys were doing, get involved with that as the show. And I think me and Bruce definitely learned more on that turkey shoot weekend. And then it's definitely intrigued me on some of my detail work now for my cars,
It gives you a different look.
It was super easy to lure them over. I just showed up to their house in a white van that said free model kits. They came running out the door.
Oh, it wasn't ice cream? I thought it was an ice cream truck.
No, it said free model kits. Come here, little boy. You want a free model kit? I got one.
I ain't run that fast in years.
Right.
Yeah, I learned a lot of those the dry brushing techniques and how to use the side of the brush and things like that from all the armor guys back when I was growing up. Because that was where I grew up. That was a big thing, more than cars. Was everybody was doing armor, and I learned a lot from it. Didn't do a lot of armor, but I learned a lot from it. As soon as I found out you have to put the treads together, I was tapped out. I'm out of here. That was it. Yep.
Yeah, the tank tracks were an interesting thing to put together. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, the old guys at the hobby shop had little jigs set up to put them into where they all went straight and lined up and everything. And man, they could pump them out quick.
I believe it.
I tried that and decided everything I'm going to do is going to have tires on it.
Yeah. Well, like mine, it had the little black rubber around the bogey wheels too. And I was like, Jason Hascom from Blue Ox was like, man, he goes, I've been painting these rubber tires on for the last couple hours. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. He goes, what are you going to do? I put it all together and made them roll. And then I put paint on the tape on my bench and I just rolled them through the paint.
Yep.
Like, it's done.
Yeah. And you know what? That's the way a lot of people do that. It's quick that way.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
It's my understanding that some of these, and I'm trying to remember exactly what they said, but if I heard them right, because again, I don't know, I'm just listening to those guys. by those guys, I mean the Insanity Podcast, Rob Riv and Rob Adams and them. But I believe that some of the aftermarket track companies have a jig. So when you say the old guys had a jig, I think they learned from that. There's a certain, I don't pretend to know how it works or whatever, but apparently you put the pieces in, put the pins in, move on to the next one type of thing.
It's like putting an old watch band together.
Right.
Yeah.
You put the part in, drop the pin, pull it forward, and they would just keep dragging that thing out, and they could put those tracks together in 15, 20 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, it'd take me 3 days.
That one gentleman that we were talking to, Bruce, he was from Finland?
Yeah, Finland.
He was saying that some of those tracks are so intensive that all the little pins and stuff that it'd take a week to put some of them tracks together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow. And he goes, because he asked me, he said, well, what tracks do you have? I go, well, it's the rubber ones. And he goes, oh, those suck. He said,
yeah, those are crap.
He goes, those are crap. He said, you didn't buy the aftermarket? I said, no. He goes, well, that's good, because he goes, you wouldn't get it done in the 4 days you got. So
exactly what he
I
said.
can't believe you guys did that in 4 days.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
I can't believe I got 4 days in that little bitty Jeep.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. 4 days to figure out what paint colors to use.
It's usually
I had a video.
Well, it was pretty simple. You get green, and you get green, and you get green.
Yeah.
Well, there were
I
two
got
browns
all
in there
different
somewhere.
kinds of green up there, and I still wouldn't be able to figure out which one I wanted.
No, it was good.
Something else I picked up from those guys, normally when you go to like a hobby store online or whatever, you pull up, you drop down the menu bar and it asks you what you want to look at. Well, I've always done auto, right? Car stuff. And I found myself looking for different types of track vehicles. I've decided that there used to be some Soviet and a couple different ones that were actually trucks that were mounted on track chassis.
Mm-hmm.
So I got into looking at those, and then what really laid over for me and what I really see myself doing is some of these old military trucks, like the old Deuce and a Halfs and some of the older stuff from Germany and Russia, and that I could see easily customizing those old military trucks and making, whether you wanted to make like a mega truck, monster truck out of them, or even one is a tow truck I've been looking at from like the 30s. It's got the big fenders like a 30s Ford would have, but it's I believe it's German. I think that would look cool slammed, and with like the new style 3D printed big rig tires on it, to where it's I think that would look cool. So it kind of opened up for me. It opened up use some of their stuff and mix it with what we do and come up with something completely different.
Yeah, somebody on Facebook posted a picture of a Model T with skis on the front and tracks.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
The first thing I did was went on Amazon and found that Revell kit. That's the long body.
Yep.
And I'm going to do that. I'm going to shave the fenders off and find a tank kit that's pretty close and wrap it around the wheels and do the little the trailer wheels and everything. And then it had wheels near the front doors. So it was like a half track with skis on the front.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be neat to do.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Yeah. I don't do a lot of scratch building. Like I said, most of my stuff comes out of the box until I saw that one. And I was like, I want to try that.
Yeah, for sure. So you pretty much then favor box stock style kits then as far as your builds go, or do you don't combine a couple of kits?
For like the past 2 years, I've been pretty much box stock. I haven't even done a whole lot of meshing together with them.
Okay.
No, but I'm getting to the point now to where, I've built all these things 6 or 7 times, and now I want to start playing with them. This CUDA kit almost turned into a convertible. I was talking to Bruce about that, and then I was thinking about doing vinyl roof on it until I pulled it out of the box and saw how clean that plastic was. So yeah, it's getting time to where I'm going to start hacking into them.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be cool to see what you come up with because, like I said, a lot of your builds, they're very stock original appearing or whatever, which is great. But it'd be kind of cool to see what the hot rod side of Grandpa Mark would come up with. I think your viewers would definitely love to see that. So
yeah, I have to start getting back into it like that.
Yeah,
that'll be fun. Now, I did do that when I was younger, before I went into the service. Would cut the kits up, raise the fronts, and different suspensions, and make my own rails and things like that with them. But after I got out of the service, I haven't done that yet.
Yep. So another question that I'm going to steal from our friend BG, and that is, what's your favorite movie car?
Movie car? Jeez. I don't know if I have a favorite movie car, but I have a favorite TV car. And that'd be all the Rockford File Firebirds.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I knew that's where he was going.
I thought he was going to say the Green Hornet.
I love the Green Hornet.
Yeah.
But it'd have to be Rockford Files, then the Green Hornet, then the Batmobile.
Okay.
And then Dan Tana's T-Bird from Vegas.
I'm not familiar with that.
Car.
You'll see it in one of my builds. I'm getting ready to do one.
Cool.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then
Gloria said the Bandit too. So.
Well, that's another Firebird. I've always had a soft spot for Firebirds. Everybody around here had Camaros and Chevelles, so I always wanted to do something different. So I had a 74 Firebird that I built up pretty good, that I got from a buddy of mine when I was in the service, and we did a lot to it, and I had a lot of fun with it, and just kind of grew with them.
Did you see any of the footage from Acme this year? Any of the videos people were putting up?
No.
So I know Mikey's seen it live in person, but there was a guy that did the Bandit, the snowman truck, and had it down at Acme.
I did see that.
And that thing was amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
that dude did a good job on that build. It was really nice.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah. And he had it mounted to like a fancy platform board or something, didn't he, Mike? Or
yeah, if it wasn't mounted to it, it was at least displayed on it. But yeah, it was kind of all like one piece the way he had it laid out. I saw it when he had it on display, and I think he won an award with it. And they didn't even ask him to bring it up because it was so big. Like there was an awards table, and then all the winners got behind the table. They went, instead of him coming to them, they went to him. And that thing was huge, man. But he did a great job. I looked at it and was trying to decipher, and I still don't know if they airbrushed that mural on the side of that truck, or if it was a decal, because I know that STS makes them, but I didn't know for sure if that was one of theirs or not. But looking at it, you couldn't tell. For like a lot of times, especially on a trailer that's got little ribs on it, you can see where the decal kind of lifts up over the rib a little bit. But if that was a decal, that dude spent some time and effort laying that down, because it was.
He's a whole gal.
Right, he submerged that stuff in the Mark fit. Thank God he didn't go the route that Lucas E goes and uses thin cement in lieu of Mark fit.
Oh, I can't believe
one shot with that.
Ugh. Nice melt that decal on there.
Yeah.
Right.
That's bad. Bruce, you got any questions for Mark?
I wasn't thinking of any. Here I am on the spot again.
Well, I know, but you guys talk daily.
I know that's the problem,
right?
Well, you can ask him a question you know the answer to, but
I know
maybe
the answer to. Okay, so why did you start putting lights and everything?
Why did I what?
Why did you start putting lights and everything?
I don't know. I have no
I was
idea.
waiting for him to say it's my fault.
I think it was because of you, to be honest with you.
So did you teach him
mentioned
the
it one
magnet
day, and I
trick?
started looking at it, and I'm thinking, I have nothing to do those with. And I had that Roadster kit and thought, well, if I'm going to mess something up, at least this has 3 different sets of lights.
And I
got 2 tries, and then I'd have to bail.
And I made a comment in that video that would look cool with lights.
Yeah. And that's when I started going after it. And boy, did we make a mess of that battery holder and everything, but it was fun.
We both did.
Oh, shooting from the hip on that one, bad.
Did Bruce show you his duster?
What's that?
Did Bruce show you his duster he's working on?
Yes, isn't that amazing?
Yeah, he's got the power going through the tires.
Yep.
Yeah.
He amazed me with that, and I'm going to definitely steal that from my Texaco station.
That's his idea.
That's why
I thought about it, but then I thought different. I was like, nah, I'm never going to try that. And then you showed me that box, and I'm like, well, shoot, you can do that.
Yeah.
So, man,
that's
pretty
good.
I think it's cool. You'll just be able to pick it up, and the lights go out and everything. Put it back down, and all the lights are on.
Yep, for sure. No, I think it's cool.
Yeah, I was floored with that. And as soon as I saw you do that, I thought, well, now you can run 5.5 volts to that and put an Arduino in the trunk and not have to worry about anything else. And you can have the flashing lights. You could have turn signals. You could run a remote control to it. So that opened up a big door. I'm gonna sure get into trouble with that.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yep.
I want to know which one of the two of you guys is going to put a Chrysler starter in there so that you can hear that.
He's the sound guy.
I have a speaker on my desk over here.
Got a key fob right here.
Yep. I wanted to have sound for that big Roadster I did.
Yeah.
And by the time I got to that point, I had everything else soldered on and realized that the 2 pins that I use for dimming the lights, I needed for the soundboard. So I wasn't able to put sound to it yet.
Okay.
There might be another Arduino getting put in the back of that thing now that I can run them through the tires. I could power them both straight up.
So then how would you, you'd have to have some sort of a prom in there that would hold a certain amount of memory of the noise, the sound, or how does that work?
A little SD chip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it goes into a little MP3 player, and it's like 4 wires. It's really simple to do, but the software will bite you.
Okay.
So you have to have the right pins allocated on the Arduino board for the MP3 to work right, and I messed it up.
Oh,
we used to use them on the RC stuff, Jason. They've got sound things for us. It sounded like a motor revving up, and it would work off the throttle. Like if you were at idle, the sound was at idle. If you the more you laid into the throttle, it'd get louder. It's a little more complicated then because you got to hook it to the speed control and all that.
Speed controller was giving it the voltage. Yeah.
Right. And they had that, and they had one that would you put water in it, and it would make a little bit of steam, look like smoke coming out the exhaust, and that sort of thing. Cool. You could get carried away with it.
I remember those old toys back in the day. You had the little pucks that you put in there, and it would smoke. You know.
Yep.
The old Lino railroad sets.
Yeah. I have one of those upstairs.
Yeah.
I still have mine when I was a kid.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow. So there's so much you can do cheap with these kits. Just start adding things to them, and the more you add, the more you see what you can add. And like these little switches I just picked up, they're only the size of a dime, 2 wires to it, and you can touch the back of your car, if you glue it to the bottom of the car, you can touch the car, turn the lights on.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I got some key lights.
With Bruce's setup like that, now you don't have to mess around with it.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be cool like that. Just have it to where a finger touches like that and turns it on, turns it off.
Just for something else to play with, to keep things fresh.
Toy.
Yep. That's all it is. I just keep adding different things just to try to keep it fresh.
Have you guys ever experimented, like if you had the battery in the trunk of a model, how long the battery would last with headlights and taillights on?
A lot longer than you'd think.
Really?
Yeah. I made that fire truck, the squad truck, and that had a 9-volt battery in it. And I put a fresh battery in at the beginning of a show at, I don't know what, the doors open at 9, and it was still running everything when I shut it off at the end of the show at 4.
Wow.
That was with a 9-volt battery. These little CR2032s, if you're just lighting the headlights and taillights, you're going to get 10 hours out of it easy.
Okay. That's kind of where I was going, because I was thinking about doing taillights on one of my builds right now, but I want to have the battery in the trunk. So then I thought, well, I wonder how long it would last if you're at a model show, if you would get a whole day.
Problem. You would have no problem with just 2 of those little LEDs or 4. I think I had, the one had 6 of them in it, and it lasted all day with the little CR2032.
Nice. That's good to know.
Yeah, they don't take a whole lot of voltage to run.
Yeah. I think that'd be kind of cool, especially like Seamus just did like his Dart, and the taillights look really cool. I love it. I really do. Oh, I got to get Bruce to talk me out of from doing it, but
it ain't never going to happen. I'm going to keep talking to you till you get it done.
Yeah, he's going to keep pushing you until you try something else too.
Yeah.
Well, that worked. How about doing this? And then he put the side markers on.
I know.
Oh man.
And it looks real too. It really looked good.
Yeah, they look fantastic. He showed me that little video today, and I was like, oh, well, there's one more thing I got to do to the to-do list.
Yeah. One thing I will say too that was a really neat idea that you did on one of your Dart builds was the little set screws on the 68 marker lights. I love that. So I was watching that video, and I literally went over to my other screen and I ordered those stainless set screws. Watching your video, because I thought that's smart right there.
It's all cheap too.
Yeah, and then you got a nice cavity to fill in with some epoxy and some translucent paint or no, that was a good idea. I stole it. I stole it from you.
Well, trust me, I didn't come up with any of the ideas you've ever seen me do. Aren't mine.
So painting the white wall tires is not your idea?
No, that one is.
Oh,
that was just because I was so fed up with those, trying to get those dang decals to lay flat that I had to do something. And now I found I got a little white paint pen, so I don't have to use the quill. I can just use the white paint pen. I'm going to try that this weekend.
Oh, nice!
Make it even easier.
Stick one of the gel pens.
It's kind of like a gel pen, but it's not. It's paint.
Okay.
So almost like a real pointy Sharpie. So I have it somewhere on this mess, but it's not much different than these, where it's just got the little fine tip on them. Yeah. But it's white, and it's very, very bright white. It covers well. Yeah. So I'm hoping that'll work, so I don't have to, dip the paint and get the mix right and all that.
That's the thing with the white walls, right? If you're big into that, those stickers look miserable. They really do.
I have never had one lay down that wasn't oval.
Yeah.
So they're just frustrating.
Talking about those the lighting thing, I did some research on that, and because I want to light up. If you guys are familiar with the Boot Hill kit, it's got those lanterns in the front of it, and I wanted to light them up. So I did some research. There was a guy using tea lights, and he recommended the tea lights. He showed you how to break them down, and would have them little round batteries in it.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I thought was really cool, and I got mine from Green Stuff, but it's a copper tape, right? So it's like bare metal foil. Think bare metal foil that's 2 millimeters wide, but it's conductive. Like you can put it's like a flat wire, right? You put the power source at one end, and if you wanted to run it along the top of the chassis and then pop up in the front for headlights, it's conductive. So I thought that I haven't done it yet because what I know about electricity, you can put on the head of a pin and have a square dance around. But it seemed cool, so I bought all the stuff to do it. Now I got to figure it out.
I didn't know, and that's Green Stuff makes that now?
Yeah, Green Stuff makes it and make it in different widths. But I also bought the really, what is that? 64 wire. They're really thin. And I'm looking for it now. And of course, I've been doing some reorganizing, so I don't know. Here it is. This really super thin wire that comes from techfix.com. It's AWG32. So it's
I love that size.
Small.
That's perfect wire.
Yeah, super small.
Do you remember when Radio Shack used to have all that stuff ready to buy, and now you got to mail order everything?
Yep. I used to work at Radio Shack.
Did you really?
Yeah. After I got out of the Navy for about a year and a half, I worked at Radio Shack. Probably made better money then than I am now.
Yeah. I always went there for something, just look and see what they got. And that's where I bought my first soldering iron was from Radio Shack. And
I still have that.
Do you?
With a wooden handle?
Yeah, that's cool.
Now, being in the Navy, maybe you can clear this up. I was told or read or saw one time that the Radio Shack is actually a Navy thing. Is that what they called the radio room on a ship? Was the Radio Shack?
Yeah,
okay.
that's
what
they called it.
I had heard that that's where that Radio Shack got the name. Was from that. I don't know how true that is, but
it might be. I never thought of that, but it might be.
Yeah,
but that was the Radio Shack. My brother was a radioman when he was in the service. So I'll have to ask him if that's where they got the name. I never thought of that.
Bob was just saying that he uses the T-light LEDs all the time. Guitar builders use copper tape and conductive paint all the time. So again, I've not used it. I've got it, but I haven't used it yet. So
yeah, I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah,
so I'm looking forward to trying that.
For sure. I mean, especially when you're looking at these small 124th, 25th models, you got to be petite and hide some of that stuff. So.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. See, that's the this is the 5 millimeter wide. I bought a kit of it, right? It comes with like 10 millimeter wide. It's kind of all different widths. Knowing that the only one that I was probably ever used is the 2 millimeter wide, but for the price of it, you couldn't beat it. But it's basically copper. You put power at one end, run the strip, and then it'll carry the power along through it. So
nice.
Again,
so
I haven't used it, but it works.
Did you get that off Amazon, Mikey?
Yeah, I got it off Amazon. Green Stuff makes specific. Hang on, I think. Give me just a second. Carry on your conversation. Give me just a second, and I'll find the Green Stuff.
I'm already thinking about that'll work real nice on the bottom of tires.
Yeah.
Well, I knew Bruce was doing magnets in the tires to hold them to the bases, right?
Yep.
But then last night when he showed me that the power cut out, and I'm like, no way, he actually used the magnet to go through it. I'm like, that's smart. That's smart.
We talked about that for a couple of days, and then next thing you know, he's doing it.
Yeah.
Well, you can't solder to magnets. It kills the magnetism.
Yeah.
So
that's why I got away from that. Doing that.
Did you glue the wire to the magnet, or what did you do?
through the display case, I stacked 2 magnets. I put a wire on a piece of tin can lid and stuck it to the bottom side of the magnet. And then the current goes through that up into the piece of tin super glued to the tire, and then through the wire up through the wheel, up through the axle, into the trunk.
Oh, okay. That's cool. That's
So
really cool.
the magnet in the base is what the 2 magnets creates the connection.
Yeah.
So there it is.
You pull the wires off the bottom side too.
That's the stuff right there. It's green stuff, conductive copper tape, 3 millimeter by 20 feet, 20 meters or whatever, and it's $5, $4.99, and I bought that less than a year ago.
Not bad at all.
That's cheap. Yeah. It's cheap.
Really?
But I got mine. I tell you where green stuff that I've seen a lot of green stuff at stores to where you can hold on to what you're trying to buy. A lot of these war games, the wargaming type guys. Is that right?
Okay,
Am I saying that right? They have a lot of green stuff world, and that's where I got this from. Was my local armor place that sells like Army Painter paints and that sort of thing. They have this. But yeah, that other batch that I got that from Amazon. It's same thing, but I wanted to try what they recommended. I wanted to go with that and see if that stuff was just as good. But
yeah.
I had when I first got the idea, like everybody else, I'm going to light up every model car I ever build, and that's probably enough in there to light up every one that I'll ever build.
Well,
anyway,
right.
But,
yeah.
$5 for that roll. That's going to last you quite a few models. So.
Right. What'll probably truly happen is I'll get aggravated with the wiring and lighting thing, and I'll use it for masking tape. Like, okay, it's just
it's easier than you think. It really is easier than you think.
Your boot hill, Mikey, you use those tea lights that what Bob and Cliffy were talking about, weren't you?
Yeah, that's the plan with those. I haven't. That's another one that might fit into your group build, Jason. Yours and Paul's group build with the
zombie.
With the zombie thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't got back to it, but yeah, that's the one I'm going to use the tea lights for. And what I liked about it, and the way this guy was making it work, was its remote control. Right. It's got this little
nice.
Control. It's got a little remote controls with it. So, like, if you didn't want to leave them on, like, let's just say you had it on a judging table, and you didn't want to leave them on for the battery to be dead when the judges finally start judging it, you can shut it off, wait for the judges to get close, and turn the lights on.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's a pretty cool idea. Yeah.
Absolutely, that's a really good idea.
And I'll tell you the truth, when we had that Hurricane Milton came through, I bought, again, when I buy stuff, I don't buy 1 or 2. My dumbass buys 50 because it's cheaper that way. I don't know why I do that. Listen, I wanted straws to make exhaust with, so I bought a case of straws. I didn't realize that 2,000 in a case of straws, there's 6 packs, or excuse me, there's 12 packs, and each pack has 2,000 straws in it. I got more straws than I know what to do with. But I did the same thing with those tea lights. So when Milton came through and blew out our power for the night, dude, I had tea lights all over the house, was turning them on and off with the remote control. I even had them flashing in her room with different colors like it was disco time. It was pretty funny.
Nice. That would be cool.
It was really funny.
I don't know if Bruce remembers that first Roadster that I wired up with the tea lights. I cut the LED off and just soldered right to where the LED went, not thinking that those tea lights flickered. So I had everything built, and I had it sitting there. I turned off the lights. I'm all excited, and I'm like, what the heck is going on here? The headlights were doing this number because the tea light was making them flicker. So I had to run it to the switch instead and reroute everything.
That's the part I haven't figured out, is how to dissect the light, because it's all one piece with a battery in it, and then the remote control turns it on and off. And and I guess I got to go over his video again, but there's a way to dissect that thing, pull the light out with the two contacts that go to the light or the ones you run the wires to, and then how to hide it. Again, it got to be complicated, so it ended up over there in the catch-all drawer. All 50 of the tea lights.
That's funny.
Yeah, the fun part is figuring out how to hide all that stuff.
Yeah.
Kudos to Seamus for the way he does that.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
well, Mikey's build, the majority of it's all glass.
Yeah.
You see right through the whole Boot Hill Express to see where the motor is. So you don't have much space to hide wires.
And in my case, it's a big old 12-valve Cummins with a big smokestack sticking out of the top of it. So yeah, you can definitely see in there.
My biggest problem is trying to get to where I can get the battery back out, so I can change the battery.
Yeah,
that's the trick.
Mm-hmm. Without, I hate cutting panels open. So the more I do the lights, the more I'm forced into cutting the trunk open or something like that, or trying to figure out what I can use a magnet to stick to it and pull something off the back and be able to reach it from there. So
there you go, Clippy. You see that comment there, Mikey?
Because I could break a tea light down on a Monday night. See, there
That'd
you go.
Be a good idea.
Do that for me, Sarge. I can break them. Like after the first one that I did, I broke it. Hulk smash! Hulk smash!
Hey, Frankie.
But it's all fun. That's the whole thing. As long as you keep doing it for fun.
Yeah. As soon as you ain't having fun with the build, then it's a job, and that just ends up in the zombie pile. So
yeah, it's been a long time that I've had one that I was over it. So then, I think that was a Pinot kit. It was my flying Pinot. That's what it was.
I should say that. No, I've got a couple. I got a Nova that I just showed on my channel for Model Cars and Coffee the other Sunday. And that one there was one of those kits where you just kept falling deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm putting it in the box. I was just done with it. So,
yeah. You never want to really give up.
No, you don't. But then you just look at it and you're like, yeah, I should have did this. I should have did that. And,
yeah. Or next time.
Yeah.
For me, if I won't sit down at the bench because I know I got to work on that darn kit again, then I put that in a box and it goes under here in the zombie pile, if you will. I'll start something new, and then when I want to, and that the Boot Hill kit, that's where I ran into with that, trying to figure out how to wire it and make it work, and that just got frustrating. So I didn't want to rush through it because it's Terry Senior's group build. And I wanted it to be nice when I got done. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I need to take a break. The bad news is you put them down there, and then that's where they stay. And that's been 4 or 5 months now since I've even pulled it out.
Yeah.
But I was doing some rearranging, made some videos about rearranging and reorganizing in here. And I actually pulled it out. The Pacer came out. And then, of course, Jason, I saw your video for your group build. And I'm like, that is a good excuse to pull that Pacer out and get that thing done, because I've been working on that one for, well, I can't say I've been working on it for 2 years, but I started it 2 years ago.
But I will say this is I'm glad you parked that thing, because you have improved on your painting game so much. And with the help of all the fine folks that you've talked to, like old Tom and them gentlemen, that Pacer is just going to be that much better.
I think so too. And I've said that before, that, I'm glad I waited, with all the custom work that's been put into that, blacking out the side windows and, blocking them out and getting it, smooth and all that. Yeah, it would suck to get it to rush it and paint it, and to paint, is going to screw up everything. You lose all the good looks of it because I rushed through the paint job. So yeah.
Yeah. If your paint comes out like that Charger, that Pacer's gonna look sweet. So,
well, I guess awesome. I don't know if you guys saw my post today or not, but there'll be no more Rust-Oleum taking up space in my cabinets anymore. I threw away like 20 cans today. I'm pretty sure it's probably blown up. I posted it on Luca's page just to get the Rust-Oleum Mafia to say something. So I'm curious to what they got to say.
Hey Bruce, highlight Billy's comment because that is dead on right there. That is dead on.
That's true. That's true.
Yep.
That's very true.
I agree with you 100%, Billy. Yep, I really do. 10, 15 years ago, I would have said, nope, I'm putting it away. But yeah, I agree. I totally agree now. So.
Yeah. Well, not that I'm pulling a plug on it or nothing, but just I'm sure Bruce's alarm is either gone off or about to.
Dead.
But
yeah, we're like a little over an hour.
A little over an hour now, but I know we wrestled Mr. Mark to get here, so we don't want to hold him up from anything he's got going on. But like I said,
I want to thank you guys for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
No, anytime.
Well, thank you for showing up and
I had a lot of fun.
To the show. Appreciate it.
Yep.
And I've watched you guys as from the start, and you're almost like family now. I'm following you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
it makes us feel good.
And then neat how the hobby, where the hobby is now, that you can do that, where you can, like, Jason and Bruce and I haven't met face to face, but when we do, it's just going to be like, boom. Same way with you. I haven't met you, Mark, but as soon as you do, you got to face. What a great time to be in the hobby. We've said that before, but with these Discords and these lives like this, and the opportunity to talk to somebody where we've all been building long enough where it used to be a singular hobby where you were either in your bedroom or in the basement or whatever, and maybe had the music going, but other than that, you weren't really talking to anybody. And I've used the example, I grew up in a little bitty town in Vermont. I say I grew up there. I left there when I was like 14, but either way, for 5 or 6 years, I was building in my room. I didn't know anybody else that built. Nobody, they weren't doing that. That's when stompers, they were playing with stompers and maybe an electric racetrack, but nothing, or little HO cars, but nothing like that. So great to be in the hobby when it is. And Mark, if you want to go ahead and give your channel a shout out so people know where they can find you.
I'm at GrandpaMark's Hobbies.
On the YouTubes?
On YouTube, yeah. And
Facebook.
we have the Facebook page, GrandpaMark's Hobbies Facebook page.
Well, I'm sure Bruce will link both of those in here. You can do that, right? I know I've asked that question before. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Again, thanks for the opportunity. I had fun.
Absolutely, Mark. We appreciate you taking time to come on. I know scheduling is a little difficult, and we were excited to have you. When Bruce said that, sent us a message letting us know that you were going to be on, I was super excited because we've seen your builds. We appreciate your fun videos, and you're definitely a positive person in the community, and it's our pleasure for sure to have you on.
Thank you very much.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks again, Mark, for coming on here. It means a lot to all of us, especially Bruce. Bruce is the one that definitely wanted to bring you on early, right out of the gate. And I'm like, absolutely. If you can get him to come on, he's more than welcome.
So, thank you.
Yeah, we tossed it around for a little while.
Yeah.
And you still went with me. That's amazing.
Sure. I mean, why not?
Everything Bruce tells us about you, we don't listen to. We just
they watch your videos.
Well, we want to give a big shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for checking in tonight. I see we got a good roll in chat. I made a mention a while ago. There we go. We had 18 likes and 40 people in there. So they went in and gave us some likes. Appreciate the chat showing up. It's always a good time chatting with you guys. And again, Mark, Jason, Bruce, thank you guys for tolerating my voice and sickness, coughing and hacking and all that. Definitely appreciate you guys. I'm going to go ahead and sign off before I lose my breath. This is Mike, the Scale Model Outlaw, saying I hope you guys had a very Merry Christmas. And thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you next week.
And I'm Jason from KRD, Klein Race Car Designs. I hope you all had a great Merry Christmas. Hope you all have a great Happy New Year, a safe one. And thank you to everybody that was in the chat tonight. I really love what I was reading. You guys were doing a great job, and you're all great supporters of our channel and all 4 of our channels. So we'll see you on the next one, everybody. And don't forget our buddy over here in the corner.
The guy that pushes the wrong button occasionally. I'm Bruce. Bruce is Eclectic-World. And I really want to thank everyone in the chat that keeps coming back every week. That does my heart good to see that. And I know that all the other guys feel the same way. And like Jason said, thank you for supporting all of our channels. And we try to support all the channels out there that we can. And God knows there's too many that we can't all see them all, but we love each and every one of you regardless.
Absolutely.
So,
but we can, there's one last thing we can do for everybody, and that's give them a big old thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Yeah. So down to my buddy Mark. You get to sign off too today, buddy.
Oh, geez. I want to thank everybody. I want to tell everybody, please give these guys a thumbs up. And just I've loved the way you guys are growing. And like I told Bruce, you guys click and just make a great show.
Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for all their support with me too. And everything that's coming down the pipe. I'm so humbled with everything. You know, I never thought anything would happen like this.
No, so you got a good show. You got a good show. I love your channel.
Thank you. But yeah, give these guys a thumbs up.
Peace
out, everybody.
Be good.
Good night, everybody. Pushing the red button now.
Peace.
Peace.